Hi, it's Len from Hero Technical Solutions. In this quick video, I'm going to show you 2 tips on making use of Zoho Analytics without having to actually have users log into the app. So the 2 scenarios that we'll cover is, the first one is embedding a report or dashboard inside of Zoho CRM. So this can be useful so that someone doesn't have to think about going to analytics and looking at a report. We make it accessible as a tab within CRM, and it kind of feels like CRM. So I don't have to remember to go and look at it. And it might just be something I'm using as I'm working through my, my tasks and reviewing my deals. They'll have a tab with the reports there. The second thing that we'll cover is emailing reports and dashboards. And that might be as a reminder for someone. So even if they have access to the report in analytics, it might be really useful for them to get an email with the dashboard. Wednesday mornings when they have a team meeting in the afternoon where they're going to be reviewing numbers, just so that if we don't if we aren't remembering to go and look at these numbers when we need to, we can have it emailed to us. The other case you might use that for is someone who doesn't actually have access to the reports in Zoho Analytics. They might be someone who maybe they get CRM, but we haven't licensed analytics for them if we're not on Zoho 1. Or maybe it's an external user. It's a partner, someone who doesn't have access to your Zoho system. We want to email them a report or a dashboard. So let's go through both of those. First one we'll take is to embed a dashboard or a report into CRM. And to do that, you're going to bring up a report or dashboard that you want to do that with. I have a deals dashboard in my demo system here. And in order to do that, we're going to go into CRM. Okay, and I have to be on the Enterprise Edition, or the version that is included with Zoho 1. And under Setup, I'm going to go into Customize Modules and Fields, and then go to Web Tabs. Okay, so now I can add a web tab in. You can see I've already done some of these before in this system. I'll say New Tab, and I'll call this Deals Dashboard. Okay, and that is going to be a link. And then I'm going to choose who has access to it. But there's 2 parts to this. I have to make sure that the web tab shows up for who I want to see this embedded dashboard. And then I may also want to share out that dashboard from within analytics. So for now, I need to get this link. So where do I get this link? Well, I get this link in analytics under the share button. You go down to URL/permalink. And then it's going to give us the link here, but we have to decide what kind of access we want. So the most secure way to do this is use access with login. So this is someone that is logged into Zoho. We know they're going to be logged into Zoho anyways because they're in CRM. And I have to share this report with them. If I hit access without login, then anyone that I give this link to can see it. And I can set a password if I want. And also, if I want to share this externally, I can do that here, and I can decide, everybody in analytics can have access to it, everybody in the Zoho organization has access to it, or it's public on the web. Okay, so anyone who has the link can get at it. So generally, you're going to want to choose access with login, and then copy this URL, and then paste that in here. And then choose which CRM roles do you want. So if I have not a role, it's a profile. So if I want those with the sales team profile to see that, I will put it in here and save it. And then I'll close this. And then I also want to make sure that they have access to it. So I'll say share this view, and then I'll make sure that any user should see it, have their names added here. I don't need to add myself because I'm an admin in analytics and already have access to this, but any other users, I would add them here. Okay, now what will happen is if I go to this list, here's my deals dashboard. Okay, and this looks like it's actually living inside of CRM, but it is in analytics. Keep in mind too that analytics can sync data up to once an hour. So if you go ahead and close a deal and then go to the deals dashboard, it may take a little bit for the numbers to be updated, but this just keeps us inside of CRM without having to jump over to analytics and remember to do that. So this is a great tool. And you can use this to show dashboards and reports, and maybe you want a list of accounts that you've done business with, but you haven't had an open opportunity with them in the last 6 months. Okay, that's the kind of thing that analytics can do but reporting in CRM can't. And then you can have a list of the accounts and have a link to click into them. So you can build all kinds of wonderful things doing that and embedding it in. The other thing I wanted to show you is emailing reports out. So also under the share button, you've got an email option here. And then you can decide if you want the contents of this dashboard or report to be in the email as HTML or in an attached PDF. And you get to choose, should that PDF be laid out as the dashboard, or do you want each section of this dashboard, so each report, to be a separate page? And you might want to try out both and see what they look like and see which one you like. But you choose the one you want, and then you decide who you're going to send this to. You choose which email address do you want this coming from. Here's my demo account email address. It can also come from notifications at Zoho Analytics if you want. Also, there's steps to authenticate your domain, which is more likely this will not end up in spam. But you can also make sure the person who's receiving this whitelists you if they're external. Okay, you put in who do you want to send this to. You can customize the subject line if you want. You can customize the text of the email that's going to accompany it, and then you can send it out. And if you want this to go out on a schedule, okay. All right, let's fill in. If you want this to go out on a schedule, you can choose that here. So you can say, I want this to go out every Wednesday at 9 a.m. and then save email schedule, and then it will go out automatically. So if they say to you, Johnson, I need the report on my desk every Monday morning by 9 a.m., you can schedule it to come in at 8:58, and it looks like you are consistently on it. Okay, so if we want that, we'd hit save schedule. I'm not going to save this one, but there it is, and there's no permissions to set there. Nobody's logging into analytics. It will just take the PDF with the data as it exists at that time and email it out, easy peasy. And then if you want to go back and edit that and change the schedule later on, it's also under email. You'll just go to edit email schedules. All right, so there you have it. A couple of ways that we can get analytics data in front of folks without having to actually remember to go in analytics and look at things. We can embed it in a web tab through CRM, and we can email it out on a schedule. All right, thanks for watching.